The City of Phoenix holds community budget hearings throughout April, allowing residents to comment and make suggestions on the city manager's trial budget before final decisions are made. This public discussion is among the reasons the city's budget so closely matches the community's highest priorities each fiscal year.
Hi everybody, we're going to get started. Welcome to our budget hearing. Thank you for coming. And we will, just some housekeeping before we get started. If you would like to speak, please fill out a card. We have a couple up here. Make sure you get one of the budget documents from back on the table. It gives more detail. And we'll have a presentation in just a moment that gives some. When you speak, we ask that you come here to the microphone, not because we want to be really formal, but because we want to capture it on channel 11, and it'll be on YouTube available for people to watch. We'll take a few minutes, so it's all distributed to the council members. So before we get to the video and comments, I will turn it over to our hosts for the evening, Councilman Onkowski and Councilman Bailey.
First of all, being a part of the Levine community, it's so important that you get involved, especially when it comes to budgets. It's my colleague and myself, it's really important to hear from you all how we spend your tax dollars wisely. And that's what it's all about. It's about how we can make sure that we give the best customer service to you. So thank you for coming out. And once again, thank you to our staff members for being here. Also, I'd like to recognize one of my staff members. Stephanie, if you could please stand up. So if you have any complaints, please call Stephanie.
Thank you so much. Thank you all for spending some of your time with us. It's great to have people, especially many people who are wearing multiple hats tonight. Some who work and live in the district, so thank you for being here. It is great to have you. And thank you to Councilman Nowakowski for sharing this meeting with me. He is great. We had a budget hearing on April Fool's Day. I said I would wait until after April Fool's Day. And a little bit to celebrate this year, including some of the things that people mentioned as priorities from last year, one of which we did a groundbreaking on just last weekend, so thank you to all the people who helped make that happen as well.
So I also want to thank the city staff who are here. They're going to be able to answer any questions that come up. We'll be around afterwards. This is one of 12 hearings, and as I said, this will be available to all the council members and the public to view on City of Phoenix YouTube channel. There's as much information as you want on the budget available at phoenix.gov. And I also want to take a moment to especially thank our budget and research staff, Mario Paniago, our budget director, and all the staff who are here for budget and research. Thank you. So with that, we will take a look at a 10-minute overview of the budget, and after that, we'll hear comments and questions. Thanks.
Welcome to one of a dozen hearings on the City Manager's 2015-16 trial budget. Input from our residents is so important and helps shape what will end up being the final budget for the next fiscal year. The final budget is important because it provides the plan for how the city will spend taxpayer money and how services that you depend on could be impacted.
I'm really pleased with this trial budget because it represents a year of really hard work. Leadership by the mayor and council to make some tough decisions, our employees who took concessions and have worked hard to save money, and our partnership with our residents to bring a balanced budget for 2015-16.
Why is a balanced budget important? It's required by state law and city charter. In this budget, there will be no cuts to the city services that you count on every day.
I think it's important with this budget to know that we brought it into balance without cutting any services, and we can actually add some very important things for the community.
Even with state fiscal actions negatively impacting Phoenix costs and revenue, and with the sunset of the emergency sales tax on food on March 31st, the budget is balanced and important additions are being made thanks to the hard work of everyone.
The funding for the city budget comes from different sources. It's not all coming from one place. And it's divided into three main areas: the general fund, enterprise funds, and special revenue funds.
Examples of general fund city departments include police, fire, the library, parks and recreation, and streets. Enterprise fund departments include aviation, water services, solid waste services, and the convention center. Special revenue funds account for designated sources of money for a specific purpose, like sales tax dollars for the hiring of police officers and firefighters, and funds for public transit.
So you look at all of those areas together, that's really the diverse mix of all the things that makes up our city budget.
The mayor and city council took action early on, leading us to a balanced budget. That includes eliminating 162 full-time general fund vacant positions last December. For a second year, additional employee compensation concessions at just under 1%. And over the last several years, the city has eliminated nearly 100 management positions and cut overtime costs by more than 50%. The efficiency efforts by city staff have been remarkable. The city is less than $2 million away from reaching its 2015 savings goal of $100 million over the past 5 years. The mayor and city council have also led reforms of the civilian pension system. In total, we can expect to see a savings of around $830 million over 2 decades, thanks to the actions already taken by the mayor and city council, along with the city pension board and voters. This will have a positive long-term impact on the budget, although there is still more work to be done. In addition, the zero-based budget review process, looking at every program, has led to $1.2 million in savings for 2015-16. Every line item in the budget was scrutinized, which allows the city to find ways to save. Among the savings, $600,000 by closing 2 courtrooms where the number of cases has dropped considerably. $225,000 saved in the finance department by relying more on technology and reducing postage costs for mailing monthly statements. $200,000 in street transportation by analyzing signage and determining which road signs are unnecessary to install, maintain, or produce. These are just a few of many ways that staff has found to improve efficiency. To see the full list of savings, check out the budget summary packet provided at these budget hearings and is also available on phoenix.gov. One of the biggest challenges the city faces this year has to do with what's happening at the state level. In an effort to balance its budget, the state has shifted costs and reduced revenue to cities like Phoenix. That has led to a $6.3 million negative impact on the city, which in turn eliminated a $4.3 million surplus, which would have been used to address important city needs. This created a $2 million deficit. To balance it out, here's what the trial budget suggests. Holding off on replacing some older city vehicles and equipment, along with slowing the growth of the city's contingency fund, which is still at its highest level in city history. Here's a look at the new services proposed in the trial budget. First, let's look at the general fund. The budget adds $14,000 for implementing full-time recreation at the county-provided Kofelt Rec Center. It's located at 19th Avenue in Buckeye. That means the existing rec center will be filled with kids year-round. In the area of innovation, the budget adds a business analyst to begin preparations for Phoenix 311, which would provide a centralized information center, as well as identifying technology needed to implement a unified municipal services card. And many residents feel that protecting the public should be the city's top priority. That's why public safety amounts to 71% of the general fund in this trial budget. This budget adds an additional $2 million for 40 hours of police officer training for every officer. Now to dedicated public safety special revenue funds. Due to the fact that these funds will be balanced next year, the budget includes the hiring of 110 police officers in 2015-16. which will increase the size of the police force from where it is today. The council also approved a plan to hire 90 firefighters next fiscal year after hiring approximately 75 this year. Now let's look at dedicated Phoenix Parks and Preserves Initiatives funds. Those funds would provide maintenance for 3 new desert preserve trailheads, creating more opportunities for residents to enjoy our preserved trails. From the Development Services Funds, which is paid for by building permit and inspection fees, is this proposal, making for a better customer experience in planning and development services with improved technology and training and more staff to enhance the electronic plan review section and the front counter service. Now to dedicated transit funds. The light rail is seeing more riders now than ever before. The proposed budget would fund rail operations for the new Northwest Extension to 19th Avenue and Dunlap. Out of dedicated aviation enterprise funds comes an important improvement at Phoenix Sky Harbor International Airport. It's one of the 10 busiest in the nation. The trial budget calls for the addition of a dedicated team at the airport to analyze noise impacts of flight activity, assess any proposed changes by the FAA, and to reach out to the community to solicit feedback and exchange information. Out of the solid waste special enterprise funds, the trial budget calls for operating a composting facility which will divert several tons of green waste per week from the landfill. That facility is scheduled to open next year. But the list of community needs continues. Among them, police body cameras, addressing homelessness, restoring library hours, after-school programs, support for arts programs, park maintenance, and street maintenance and street landscaping. Any budget requires trade-offs, and street landscaping is an example of that. It is important to keep our city beautiful and safe by making sure trees and shrubs along the roadways are maintained. Right now, that happens when residents make a report, but that could soon change. The council will soon vote on whether to bid for the service, which means the roadways will be regularly maintained 3 times a year. Although funding is not currently available to increase this service, the Transportation and Infrastructure Subcommittee is evaluating additional options which would increase the frequency of street landscaping service with added costs estimated to range from $1.5 to $6 million. Additional funding sources would need to be identified.
So the 2015-16 trial budget is really good news. We balanced the budget with no cuts to services. In fact, we've added some things that are important to the community. But we always want to be looking ahead. And so we have a 5-year plan. We can forecast ahead. And we see that we have some issues to deal with after this year.
One of the biggest challenges to the general fund, public safety pension costs. Much work has been done on the civilian side controlled by the city, but the state-controlled system still faces challenges. This trial budget assumes phasing in added public safety pension costs over the next 3 years, allowing city services to be preserved. Also, revenue growth will be affected by actions taken by the state on income and sales taxes. The city is planning ahead on both of these issues and will work hard to address them over the next 12 months. Keep in mind, the budget hasn't been adopted just yet. Your input is important, and the City of Phoenix wants to hear from you on what the upcoming budget should look like. 12 public hearings will take place this month across all council districts, and you are encouraged to attend. You can also send your comments or questions to budget.research@phoenix.gov, or to reach out to us by phone, call 602-262-4800. You can also comment on social media by using #PhoenixBudget. Thank you for being part of a very important process. The City of Phoenix is committed to its mission of improving the quality of life in Phoenix through the efficient delivery of outstanding public services.
have 2 cards. If there's anybody else who's here who'd like to speak, we'll invite you to fill out a card and have an opportunity. And the first we will hear from is Dr. Donna Ryan.
Good evening. My name is Donna Ryder, and I'm a resident of Council District Number 4, but I am here as the chair of the City of Phoenix Arts and Culture Commission. First off, we're very grateful that the proposed budget does not cut arts and culture services to the residents of Phoenix. And this is really important because arts and culture are an investment that pays off many times over. Just as an example, I already spoke to Mr. Nowakowski last night, so I'm not going to repeat his things yet. But in District 8, you and of course District 7 have probably some of the most arts and cultural institutions that the city helps support. So as an example, there's the Arizona Science Center, the Arizona Theater Company, the Children's Museum, the Boston House, Roosevelt Road, Monterey Festival. So those are just some of the organizations which the grants that we give to our office does help. So you might say, I know a lot of people say, why arts and culture? Why should we support it? Well, I have a myriad of statistics and personal stories, but I'll try to keep it short because I know that most of you are staff members and you probably would like to go home. Since there's only 2 of us. So, just as an example, the creative industries, which is, we see this as very vast, so including architects, culinary artists, it strengthens the economy. In our area, it's over a $300 million industry. It drives tourism. I know at least for myself, when I go to other places, I really always want to know what's the public art. What can I see that the city feels that is important, that represents us? And certainly in Phoenix, our public art is stunning. It is outstanding. And that which we see in the airport is probably the most stunning in the world. And I do travel a lot. Because arts brings business, and it also has a social impact. So it's really important for not only in schools, but also after school programs. We know that engaged students become good citizens, and that is really something that I think all of us are very concerned about, is how engaged is the next generation going to be. And one of the things in the budget, proposed budget, says in our needs is more money for arts grants. So in essence, to paraphrase that great philosopher, Dr. Seuss, oh, with more money to give, just think what all of those arts and culture organizations could go, and where they go, the rest of our community will be, and it will be a beautiful place. So we hope that you consider that. If it's not now, it's at least in the future. The mayor did suggest at one point that $1 per person would be an adequate means of supporting. And when we give money and grants, that really does spread out, and it's really a great benefit. So I look forward to continuing to work with you to advocate for and to help build the arts as a vital sector of our community and economy. And Councilwoman, I'm giving you the sheet that gives you not only the organizations that currently support, but other organizations that are in your district.
Thank you, Donna. Thank you, Donna. Next we have Tony Baristigi. Tony Baristigi? Did I get it right? Baristigi. I got it. I got the accent. Thank you, Tony, for bearing with me. I have a very easy last name myself, so I'm very sensitive to that. And Tony will be followed by Erica Key.
Thank you for your time and thanks for letting me speak. My name is Tony Borhastegui. I'm a Levine resident. And thank you very much. Yeah. Try the fish. Tony Borhastegui, a Levine resident since 2005. I've seen the city grow significantly and exponentially. And again, I want to thank for you guys keeping us on the radar. I want to thank Councilwoman Gallego for the lovely dog park that we're going to get. We're very thankful for that. I want to thank the city overall for your continued effort to work with the FAA to keep the Levine corridor as one of the paths we're going to consider for alternate routes. So thanks for that. My focus is going to be on the children of Levine. We have a lot of kids here, and they're just continuing to have more and more kids. Proof is Levine Elementary is building another school, school number 8 in 2016, over at Paseo Point, 55th Avenue, Dobbins, a K through 8. The reason I bring that up is because we need more things for our children. Just recently, I signed up my child for Levine Soccer, a local group put together by a couple of realtors, and now they're up to 600 kids. It's a family league, very low impact, and there's 600 kids in this league. We just found out we can't play at Mansfield Park, which is right here in Levine. We're going to be playing somewhere on 67th and Buckeye. So my request to the city is, whatever resources are here for Parks and Recreation, take into consideration the organizations that are from Levine to use those resources. Also, there's a community center that I've seen designs and it's beautiful, but the funds aren't there for the community center. So please don't let that fall off your radar. Please consider that for Levine. This town is growing. We're the home of Vista del Sur Elementary, a top 10 school in the state of Arizona. And Aguila Golf Course, if you play golf, you've got to try one of the best municipal courses I've ever played. So it's all here, but we need something for our kids to do. Thank you for your time.
Thanks, Tony. It's good to see you again. And Erica Keenan will be next.
I wanted to thank our city manager and our council representatives for listening to us in Levine. Last year, we came out in full force. I don't think many people knew about it this year, so that's why it's a little empty. But if you remember last year, there was over 200 people here. And not all of them were talking about the budget. We came and presented some needs specifically in Levine. Our city manager came out. We invited him to come out on a Saturday morning, told him to wear sneakers, and he walked Levine and saw exactly what we were talking about in our presentation. And we did get, and thank you, Councilwoman Gallego, because we got a bus stop at 35th Avenue, which was sorely needed. As a matter of fact, when I drove here, there were 8 people standing at that shaded bus stop. So thank you for that. We got a light, on 51st Avenue, and I want to say thank you for that. But I always have something to ask for. So there were a couple of items on the list which we said would be done. I was told would be done last year. One of them was at Cesar Chavez Park. 18 park benches and tables were removed from the park, and they weren't replaced. They were removed because there were rebar, and it was dangerous. And I kind of joked about it afterwards, is that maybe I shouldn't have said anything, because at least then maybe somebody, people would have a place to sit, and now they're gone. So I do after that, and that's especially meaningful to me because I live across the street from the park. I was diagnosed with ovarian cancer last year, and all I could do was go out and walk that park. So that park has a lot of special meaning to me, and is well used. And the second thing I would ask for consideration, again, it's been on my list ever since I've been coming to these things for 5 years, so you may not recognize me. But the second thing thank you very much for everything you have done for us.
Thank you, Erica. Thanks for coming back again this year and for your advocacy for Levine. And I do remember that conversation about park benches, and so we'll follow up and figure out what's going on with those. In fact, Inger right there is going to catch you on that. Is there anybody else here who wished to speak or comment on the budget or anything else while you got us? All right. If not, I will ask our council members if they would like to lead us out of this event. And go first to Councilman Olkowski.
Well, once again, thank you for coming out here. Thank you for caring about Levine. There's a lot of growth going out here, and we need your support. We need your advice. And once again, thanks to all of our staff members for really all the customer service and all the services you provide for the citizens out here in Levine.
Thank you again to everyone for coming, and for people who are interested in more youth opportunities with the park side, and then we're working on the economic development side as well to try to attract private sector partners to fill some of those vacancies. And thank you to Chris Mackey on that part. And since we have a smaller group, maybe we can go through some details with folks if you're particularly interested. But very thankful to everyone who came out tonight.
Thank you very much. Have a safe trip home.
You've been watching a community budget hearing held recently in Phoenix. For questions, comments, or ideas, please visit phoenix.gov or call 602-262-4800. You can also send feedback or videos through social media at #PhoenixBudget. This video can also be seen online at phoenix.gov/11 or youtube.com/City of Phoenix AZ.